Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at 10 people who secretly control the world. We all know there are powerful people in the world, but some operate in the shadows and change your world every single day. But chances are you've never even heard of these people despite them secretly controlling the world you and I live in. Before we get into it, be sure to subscribe and press the notification bell too. Coming in at number 10 is Carlos Slim. For many years, this guy's been head-to-head with Bill Gates in becoming the richest man on Earth, and often their Forbes positions change for a day or so, making Slim number 1 from time to time. He's 76 years old and has a net worth of around $60 billion. He's known in Mexico as a man who owns a share in every industry in Mexico. He did this through a giant company named Grupo Carso, which owns shares of 40% of companies on the Mexican stock exchange. His net worth is 7% of Mexico's entire GDP, and if this was converted to the USA, he'd be a trillionaire. Recently, he even bought the New York Times, despite it being a money-losing operation. He did this to buy American influence and to try and push his views. For example, President Trump directly blamed Slim for publishing scandals about him which were later found to be false. Slim is also a large donor to the Clintons. While the richest man in America, Bill Gates, is seen as a good guy, the richest man in Mexico, aka Slim, is not. He's known for taking advantage of state privatization and creating monopolies. Some say he's even risen prices for no reason, making it hard for regular people to live. And Mexican cell phone charges are 10 times more expensive than in the USA thanks to Slim, as he owns every telecom company. In fact, every Mexican is influenced by this man every day, whether they like it or not. And in recent years, it's got so bad that some Mexicans refer to Mexico as Slimlandia. Next up is Rothschild family. Okay, so this isn't one person, but an entire family of powerful people who secretly run the world. But this is the world's second richest and most powerful family, worth $2 trillion. The family goes all the way back to Mayer Rothschild, who was a banker. He installed his 5 sons across the 5 most powerful cities in Europe to work in finance. They then expanded the family's wealth to scales never before seen, and were the world's richest family for a long time. But many accused them of funding armies in countries and orchestrating major historical events. Many secret documents suggesting their involvement in international politics have been found, but you may have never even heard of this family because they like to run the world in the shadows. They directly advised the Queen of England about her finances, and the family is often seen at the secret Bilderberg meetings, which many say are the most powerful people and companies meeting to discuss a new world order. And as I said, they're only the world's second richest family, but don't worry, we'll get to the richest soon. Next up is Vladimir Putin. You may see him as the comical leader of Russia who rides horses shirtless, but he tops the list of Forbes' most powerful people. You may have thought the President of the United States would be top of this list, but no, Putin is number 1. He's one of the world's richest people with a net worth of $200 billion, far more than Bill Gates. He owns a stake in every major Russian oligarch's company, meaning he controls industries like oil, wood, and steel on a global level. Not only that, Putin has found a loophole to remain president of Russia for as long as he likes, and it's suspected that he caused an apartment building to explode and then blamed his opposing political party to win his first presidential election. And the FBI have confirmed that Russia did in fact hack the US 2016 election, meaning Putin could seemingly pick and choose who runs the world. One thing's for sure, there's more to this man than meets the eye. Next up is Ratan Tata. This man owns a giant Indian company worth over $100 billion and employs over 600,000 people all over the world. Today the company is mainly rich thanks to steel manufacturing, but their initial success came from tea. Secretly taped conversations revealed they tried to turn the central government of India against their regional government. And in 2016 they were fined $1 billion for stealing trade secrets and secret data from an American company named Epic Systems. This is a software company which holds information of half the country's medical data. That's right, this guy may have been snooping around in your medical files. But this guy's influence in America doesn't end there. He spends nearly $1 billion a year lobbying in his interests. These include things like Indian immigrant workers and Indian-USA relations. Next up is Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. This man is the head of the world's richest family, the House of Saud. The House of Saud is the royal family of Saudi Arabia, a country famous for its oil wealth. The family's net worth is close to $2.4 trillion, making them globally powerful. They have massive influence, and not only are these guys rich, they set all the laws of their country. Some of Salman's sons are now moving into other big cities in Saudi Arabia and running them, expanding the family's power. But this family does not have a clean sheet. They've had military influence in many countries countries, as well as links to Osama bin Laden. They're known for human rights violations as well, especially on part of immigrant workers. And in 2016, secret files leaked about money being laundered to the tune of $17 billion. This is likely illegal money, and another mysterious payment of $34 million was also put under investigation. However, it seems this family is untouchable, especially in the USA, as they have close ties to another family coming up later on this list. Next up is Rockefeller family. You may not think this family is so powerful anymore, but if you did think this, you were very wrong. They are powerful, they just choose to keep in the shadows. The family is made up of over 100 people who control $11 billion. It began with J.D. Rockefeller's Standard Oil Company that got so big it had to be split into BP, ExxonMobil, and Chevron. And also David Rockefeller's J.P. Morgan Chase. The family are often seen at the super secret Bilderberg meetings every year. And David Rockefeller was even offered high-ranking government jobs by presidents, but oddly declined them. Many think this is because he has a relationship with the Shah of Iran, which many criticize. And in 1975, he met a woman named Margaret Thatcher and he fell in love. And then 4 years later, she became the first female Prime Minister of Britain. She brought in many policies that are still hated today, which make the rich like the Rockefellers richer and the poor poorer. Next up is Walton family. What does Walton sound like? Walmart, right? Well, that's because this family owned the retail giant. None of the family members today actually founded it, but instead they're the kids of the founders. They're often criticized for not making any of their own money and being lazy, and have even been nicknamed the greediest family in the world. The family's worth over $130 billion. To put that into perspective, if you gathered up 40% of all Americans and put their money together, it wouldn't come close to the Waltons' wealth. They're heavily criticized for their manipulation of taxes, lobbying for years over tax and labor laws. And it was found in 2014 that they'd broken labor laws in 14 states, affecting over 60 staff members. They also spend over $80 million a year funding local candidates, which will put Walmart's interests first. Still don't think this family is super powerful? Since the 2007 recession, Americans have seen a 40% drop in wealth, but the Waltons have increased their wealth by 96%, partly by saving billions with special tax breaks. Next up is Andrew Marshall. Did you know that the entire US defense strategy is shaped by one single man? A man named Andrew Marshall is the most important man in the Pentagon and has been since 1973. He doesn't speak to anyone publicly and is perhaps the most secretive person on the planet. Everything he writes is more secret than the KFC and Coca-Cola recipes combined. Some people call him Yoda because he's so good at predicting the future. He determines anything and everything that could harm the USA. And he was even largely the driving force behind the collapse of the USSR in the 1990s. This man actually knows more than any president ever, and despite being so old, he knows about and uses technology we could only dream about. Yeah, if there really was a Roswell incident, this guy would know about it. And Area 51, don't think I forgot about those aliens. You might think international power may be between Vladimir Putin and Trump, but really it's between Vladimir Putin and this guy. He's never given a press interview and never will. I wonder if this guy even speaks to his own family. Next up is Queen Elizabeth. It may not surprise you to hear that the Queen of one of the most powerful countries on Earth secretly controls the world. Her family has been the controversial royal family of Britain for over 100 years, and every law made must still be signed off by her. She's been accused of pressuring, having secret conversations, and lobbying to push government actions. Leaked letters from the Queen's son Prince Charles to then Prime Minister Tony Blair shows him controlling healthcare and the military. Many secrets are covered up about the family as they control the royal archives, which allow them to operate without anyone knowing what they've done. Many think they've cooperated with Hitler and even caused Princess Diana to lose her life. What do you think about this very mysterious royal family? Next up is Bush family. We all know George Bush and George Bush Sr. But what do you know about Prescott Bush? This guy is the father of George Bush Sr. and has been accused of some high-level scheming in his time. Prescott, along with all the other Bushes, was a member of the secret Skull and Bones Society at Yale University. The Skull and Bones Society is a secret society of the world's most powerful people and their children who control the world. In 1993, he tried to inspire a military coup which would overthrow President Roosevelt and replace the government with a Hitler-like regime, and a lot of the Bush family's money comes from trading with Hitler during WW2. After planes hit the World Trade Center in 2001, Bush also covered up the Saudis' involvement. And this is likely because George Bush Sr.'s oil company was totally funded by the Saudis. Check out the poll in the top right corner to vote for the most secretive person who controls the world. And guys, be sure to head over to my new channel, The Crafty, and subscribe. There'll be a video for The Crafty popping up on screen in a second, so click it and check it out. And as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.